Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Ledwell and this is The Inspiration Show. Today on the show, I'm actually going to be, my special guest is going to be sharing his inspirational story. I actually got to introduce or found Dr. Rick through one of the programs, Ultimate Success Masterclass that we have here at My Movies. And he has such an amazing story, and it's one of those stories that is very perfect for the Inspiration Show because it shows you even from the lowest low that you can get to that there is still light and positive things on the other side. So please welcome my guest, Dr. Rick Henningsen. How are you, Dr. Rick?
Very good, Natalie. Thank you so much for having me today.
It's such a pleasure to have you here, and I'm so looking forward to you sharing your story, because I know that there are certain points in this story that many people that are watching the show can actually relate to. So why don't you take it away with a bit of your story and how you got to this point?
Okay, well, first and foremost, Natalie, thank you so very much for coming into my life just about a year ago, because you actually saved my life. I don't know where I would have been at this particular point. As for a little history, I had used the laws of attraction my entire life without realizing, just like everybody else. And then all of a sudden, things started to turn in the opposite direction. I developed a large practice, which was wonderful, and I lost that due to an accident, and I was unable to continue moving forward with that. And then I turned around and I developed a product that was so popular that one of the largest tire and rubber companies in the world wanted it and co-branded with us, only to find out that now a larger company had taken that. There were so many peaks and valleys, and I was using the law of attraction, but I had no idea. I used it for success, but I also used it to attract things into my life that were more negative as well. And then you stepped into my life when I was at just about the lowest point I could possibly be. After I was financially devastated, after sinking my life into this award-winning product that I had, and finding out that nobody was going to use it because it was knocked off, I had no idea where I was going to go and what I was going to do. And then I acted on an email that came to me. For whatever reason, I just pushed the button, and it was an email from you, somebody I had never met in my life, which was very, very interesting because I normally don't do that. Those you normally just get discarded, as you well know. If you don't know them, don't open it. And I'm so happy, and I thank God that I did that, because once I did and learned the laws of attraction with you, the most remarkable things have happened to me since that day that I opened that up. I've manifested things that I never had in professional life. I've traveled to France to visit friends and go to weddings. People have come into my life. Tremendously amazing things have happened in the past year. And using the laws of attraction have been I can't say thank you enough to you, Natalie. Thank you so
Oh,
very
thank
much.
you.
You
Well, that's
know.
the thing. You got in and did the work, so it's I have a message, but when you actually get in and apply and do the work and apply the information that I'm teaching, that's when miracles can happen. So let's retrack it back a little bit with your story. So you said that you had a practice and lost it with a car accident. So tell me what exactly happened there and how the law of attraction played into the events that happened in that situation.
Well, like most people, I was using the law of attraction to attain things in my life. I had no idea I was using it, and I was full-blown, very positive, very excited to help people. And I was treating thousands of people. I had multiple offices, and it was just absolutely fabulous. And then something happened. Something changed. When I reached a certain level, I don't know what it was, but I started changing a little bit. And this is when I was injured. And of course, I don't speak about what happened to me anymore after the surgeries and things like that. I'm just happy that I'm here talking to you the way I'm talking to you.
Right.
I still have very specific limitations as to what I can do and what I can't do. But what ended up happening was, as I developed a very negative outlook, I felt like I lost everything, and every piece of good in my life was gone. I spent my whole life building this practice, my whole professional life building this practice. I was at the pinnacle, and then boom, the carpet was pulled out from under me. I couldn't do anything anymore. There was nothing I can do. All of the things that I enjoyed doing with my wife and family, I couldn't do any longer. So that led me down a very dark path,
Mm.
and that lasted for a few years before I came up with something else that started helping me to climb out of that darkness.
Yeah.
And then still carrying with me some of that manifesting negatively because my mind was not in the right place. Okay, I built that up to a point where it was amazing. There was so many things we expected to happen that that fell through too.
Right.
And I wasn't using the law of attraction the right way, and I'd had no idea I was using it correctly or incorrectly. And then I met you, and now I'm using it correctly.
And now you've swallowed the red pill and you can't go back.
That's the way to do it. Okay? There's only one way to go, and that's forward.
Yeah, true. So now that you've applied the information that you've learned from USM, how do you think you would have done things differently? You had a couple of years where you were struggling, and not attracting anything positive into your life. How would you do things differently if you had that time again?
Well, I most certainly would have paid much more attention to the path I was on and the path that I took after I strayed. Because when you're thinking along the lines is helping more people and doing more things and providing more services and giving more to people, things build and they develop. And then when that changes, I reached a certain level where it was I couldn't do it any longer, and I didn't want to have anybody else do it, which was kind of selfish, but I knew what I provided, and that's when my mindset changed, and it was no longer help as many people as I can. It was I have enough, and then I have enough got me to I have enough, or maybe I need less, and well, after the accident, I got less. That was for sure. But what I would do is I would continue to always strive to help more and to give more and to do more for people, because that's the way to bring positive things and more into your life. Okay?
Yeah,
Only if it's done in a positive light.
yeah, of course. I mean, your intentions need to be pure.
Absolutely.
I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. We were talking about brainwave entrainment and some of the products that are out there that, a little bit, are probably not technically as effective as others. But what my friend was telling me was that as long as the people who created the audios, their intention was pure, then that energy gets passed through to the program as well. And even though that technically is not as effective as others, it still has a positive effect on the people that are using the program, which is
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's what you want on your team, and that's what happened when I tried to bring other people in to the practice in order to help me. I wasn't getting people that had the same goals, dreams, and desires. I had people that wanted to come in and just do one thing and get a paycheck. That's not my idea of moving forward. It wasn't progressive for me.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. You have to have 100% positively motivated people on your side, and positive energy.
Of course. And
Just
it sounds
like
like now you understand how to create positive change in your life, you need to show up in a certain way. How do you think you're showing up differently than you did before?
Actually, right now, I wake up, but for whatever reason, I'll go to sleep at midnight. I wake up at 4:30. That's my favorite time of day. But I launch out of bed. I'm ready to get moving. I'm ready to get things started. And that was one very big important part of the discussion from earlier, is when I told you that you came into my life, I acted on that button. If you don't act, if you don't research, if you don't look into it, and you don't take action, I didn't have a penny to my name when I signed up for your course. And in that past year, I've been to France for 10 days. I've been here. I've gotten cars. I've gotten all kinds of wonderful things. And that was just falling out of the sky, so to speak. Okay? That was manifesting. It was all coming to me.
Right, wow. And now you're the author of a new book called Being Their Awakenings. Tell me about the book and the journey of writing it.
That is one of the most amazing things that ever happened. I've always written as far as medical documents were concerned, but I've never considered myself to be a writer. And then when I was at my lowest point, as ready to give up on everything, something told me to sit down behind my computer and start writing a story. I had no idea what I was going to write about. Okay, this was the amazing thing. And I stared at the computer for what must have been a minute, 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden it started to flow out of me. And I wrote for hours at a time and rested when I had to and went right back to it. I couldn't wait to get back to writing. The story flew out of me and onto the keyboard and the screen like out of nowhere. It was magical. By the time I finished, I wrote a book with 132,614 words, 25 chapters, okay, 484 pages, and that was the least of what happened. In that time frame, without even searching, I had publicists, New York Times bestsellers, I've had artists, I had layout designers, everybody just showed up in my life. I wasn't even looking for them. I was writing the book. I was happy just to write the book. And then these people started showing up out of my life without even looking. So that's manifestation. Laws of attraction, I love it. Okay? It's absolutely incredible. And then we turn around and I have a New York Times bestseller who wrote the foreword for me, and it's very, very exciting. Now, it is sci-fi. It is strictly, sci-fi, light sci-fi, fantasy. It's strictly for entertainment purposes, and it's the base. But the other thing that happened was by the time I finished writing the book, I had the other 5 books, the storylines and the titles, already developed by the time I wrote that book. So now this is the first time in 12 to 15 years that I knew that what I was doing was exactly what I was supposed to be doing. Yeah. So I know where we're going with this. This is going to be a fabulous journey.
And that's the thing, when you are in flow and you surrender to how anything is going to show up, it is ridiculous how things will start to fall into place for you to make it happen without a lot of effort. And
Absolutely
I think part
amazing.
of that is number one, showing up as that person so that you're in a consistent state of gratitude and happiness, so you're vibrating at those higher frequencies. But then having that surrender. I mean, did you ever in a million years think that you would be the author of a science fiction novel?
No, not a novel, nor a series. But here's something even more interesting. I've written 2 other books on top of that. Okay? They're completely different, and they're not ready to come out yet because they're in completely different genres, and these are in self-help things. But I never thought that I'd write 3 books in this period of time, which is incredible. I just happened to be going with the sci-fi because I was so inspired with the sci-fi. And you're right, positive vibrational energy, showing up, ready to be there, going to give to people. Everything just fell into place, and it's been absolutely tremendous journey.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that. I've just finished, because I listen to my books on audio, and I've just finished listening to a book called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Now, Elizabeth is the woman that wrote Eat, Pray, Love. Okay. And she talks about the writing process. And she's written she's written articles for magazines, she's written novels, she's written, memoirs, she's written, self-help, like a whole range of different types of genres. And she talks about that whole process and about how we get those ideas. So was there something in particular that you did to be able to tap into that source, or that, where the book was actually able to flow through you?
Do you know, I cannot tell you. All I knew is that I was at the lowest point of my life, and inside of me there was something telling me there's something better. There's something better. Don't go off the deep end on all of this. There's something better. And then something just told me to sit down and start writing. Again, I had no idea what I was going to write about. And then the whole storyline flew out. Yeah. So, and then after that, it was like an on switch. Everything was positive. Everything was go to give. Everything was get up, get up like a charging rhinoceros, ready to get things done. And that's the way it's been ever since. It's been truly tremendous.
Yeah, it's so amazing. So tell me, if people want to get their hands on the book, where can we send them to do that?
Oh, well, if they'd like to, they're more than welcome to join in the fun on the website at beingthereawakenings.com or richardrchenningsen.com. The website has a whole bunch of information about the book. It has some contests you can join in so they can become part of the writing process. And if they submit a chapter idea and it's selected, they can actually become part of writing history. We'll include them in the one of the books in the series and include their name and their chapter idea, and we'll develop a chapter around their idea.
Wow.
So beingthereawakenings.com would be it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Rick, for joining me today. You truly have an inspiring story, and I think, when we look at our lives and we look at the lowest points, always at our lowest point there is somewhere amazing that happens from that, and it's really, the hero's journey. We get to the final test, and then we can get through to the other side. So I really appreciate you sharing your story with us today, and I wish you the best of luck in everything with the book.
Thank you so much for having me. And just remember, when there's a hero, there's always something on the other side that pushes them. And you were that something that pushed me. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Dom. Now, guys, I encourage you to share this video. You can do that by clicking the Facebook and the Twitter share buttons on this page. Now, make sure you click on the banner either to the side here or underneath to go to Dr. Rick's website so you can get a copy of the book. And leave your email, if you haven't done so already, in the box that's on this page so I can send you the Manifesting with the Masters video e-course for free. So until next time, remember to live large, choose courageously, and love without limits. We'll see you soon.